to understanding the book of Revelation, we're now going to look at key number 5. And this is very important. Interpreting the language of the tabernacle and the temple in the book of Revelation. See, if we don't understand the language of the tabernacle and the temple, and because there's so much symbolism in the book of Revelation that comes out of the rooms and the sacred furniture in this place that are keys to understanding the message that God is giving to us. We need to understand this language. We need to understand the tabernacle and the temple so that we can truly understand the message that God is giving to us in the book of Revelation. If we look at this diagram of the tabernacle and the temple, there was 3 spaces. There was the outer court, the holy place, and the most holy place. And there were pieces of furniture in each of these 3 places. There was the brazen altar, the brazen laver in the outer court. There was the table of showbread and the golden candlestick, and the golden altar of incense in the holy place. And in the most holy place was the Ark of the Covenant. This is a tremendous study throughout the Bible, throughout the Old Testament in particular, and the interpretation of these spaces, these rooms, these pieces of furniture become critical in understanding what's actually happening in the book of Revelation. In Revelation chapters 1, verses 12 to 13 and verse 20, it says, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and in the midst of the 7 lampstands, one like the Son of Man. The 7 lampstands which you saw are the 7 churches. So here we find the book of Revelation actually interprets to us the meaning of this 7-branched candlestick. This golden candlestick, which we find in the tabernacle and the temple, was a picture of the church. We can actually find it also in Zechariah chapter 4, where it talks about the house of God. And here we find Christ in the midst of his church. This golden candlestick is such an important element in different parts of the book of Revelation. In Revelation 1 and verse 15, we see that John looks at the feet of Christ and says his feet were like fine brass, as if refined in a furnace. Now, in the Bible, brass is the metal of judgment. And here his feet are on fire, burning fire. And this is his feet. This is the altar, the brazen altar of sacrifice. It speaks of the judgment against sin. And as it says in 1 Peter 4:17, judgment begins in the church, at the house of God. And so in Revelation chapter 1, 2 and 3, we see the judgment coming against the church. And the symbolism of the tabernacle and the temple and the rooms and the furniture become so important. Then in Revelation chapter 8 and verse 3, it says, another angel having a golden censer came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. Now, this verse is talking to us about the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. This was the only day in the whole year when the high priest was allowed to go into the most holy place, taking the incense of this golden altar of incense, the prayers of the saints. This was the opening of the 7th seal. It's speaking to us of the consummation of God's work in the church, of when the church will become like Christ, the perfection of the church. This is an amazing revelation, and there is so much more in the book of Revelation, in the language of the tabernacle and the temple. And if we want to understand the book of Revelation, we need to understand this language. God bless you.